A of the internally displaced. How far so far Nigeria?
We continue to collaborate with the United Nations, with the state government and other partners to scale up this initiative to other affected communities.
More ministries, parastatals, and agencies defend budgets, seek more funding.
Constraining the health sector budget in the new proposal will not be a very good idea.
More succor to victims of flood across the nation.
Some houses are underwater. The devastation is total.
Hello and welcome to the Network News on NTA. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Tonight I'm reading with one of the best, Adeola Komi Akere, who joins us from Lagos. You can start following this newscast live on our website, nt.ng/live, NTA News Now on Twitter, as well as other social media platforms displayed on the screen. Armed conflicts, famine and political unrest are just a few reasons many flee to seek safety. In their quest for survival, these group of persons are left with bitter tales. Tonight we examine the plight of internally displaced persons in Nigeria, and I tell you, their stories are better imagined. Insecurity, disasters and human rights violation are just a few reasons many leave their states or countries to become internally displaced persons, refugees, asylum seekers, or migrants. Displaced persons, displacement experts say, suffer high risk of physical attack, sexual assault, abduction, and oftentimes death. Ladi Musa is an indigene of Gwazo in Maiduguri. She shares her experience.
I lost one of my sister on our way to Cameroon because it was in the night. Now a big snake bites her in her leg.
I cannot afford my children's education. You know, this, as I say, this is a seventh displacement. I am no longer, no matter how strong I was, you know, I have exhausted this. What all I have.
Data by Internal Displacement Monitoring Center reveal that conflict and violence triggered 11.6 million internal displacements in sub-Saharan Africa in 2001. Multiple reports show that in Nigeria, Boko Haram and other non-state armed groups, as well as clashes between herders and farmers, have pushed some 3.0 million Nigerians as of November 2021 out of their homes, especially in parts of northeast Nigeria. The African Union Convention for the Protection and Assistance of IDPs in Africa, which came into force in 2012, is the first continental instrument that legally binds governments to protect the rights and well-being of people first to flee their homes. The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, alongside donor agencies, have been championing the cause of IDPs in Nigeria through several interventions. Domestication of the Kampala Convention by African nations remains key to addressing internal displacement. This was the position of the Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, who represented President Muhammadu Buhari at a ceremony in commemoration of the National Day for Internally Displaced Persons in Abuja.
Everybody's running. I even run. I don't even think about my mother and my father. Everybody just run on his own. After we left there before, I now noticed that my mother is in Abuja.
Okasha's encounter with insurgents in Maiduguri is not fictional. Now, there is a new direction for him and other IDPs. Celebrating their resilience birthed the National Day for Internally Displaced Persons, and key players on displacement management are advocating funding of integrated durable solutions to aid their plight.
The federal government will continue to collaborate with the United Nations, with the state governments and other partners to scale up this initiative to other affected communities, and especially to promote the return of IDPs to their respective communities in safety and with dignity.
Nigeria, with 3.2 million internally displaced persons, has been equipping these survivors with life-changing skills to promote economic prosperity.
Currently, various ministries, departments, and agencies of the government have made provision for services such as education, health, WASH, identification in the interest of refugees, IDPs, and returnees, promotion of self-reliance for the refugees and such other persons of concern is one of my ministry's key objectives as we strive to take them out of the humanitarian hands-out zone to sustainably becoming self-reliant members of the society. The Commission is therefore committed to facilitating access to social services, amenities in host communities, camps, and settlements in collaboration with all relevant stakeholders by emplacing frameworks that boost their level of availability and accessibility.
With a 3-year action plan in the northeast and shutting of IDP camps in Borno, it is expected that more camps will be closed to facilitate resettlement. The ceremony featured an exhibition, fashion show, award presentations, and musical performances. Meanwhile, Minister for State Petroleum Resources, Tim Silva, has empathized with the people and residents of Bayelsa State over the level of damage caused by flood. The minister expressed his sympathy during the visit to internally displaced persons camps where relief materials and food items donated by the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board were presented. Ebimini Zitimiliula reports.
Moved by the level of devastation occasioned by the flood waters and the attendant effects on the people and environment, the Minister for State Petroleum Resources, accompanied by the Executive Secretary, Simbi Kesie Wabote, has visited the damaged sections of the River State axis of the East-West Road. The minister, who expressed shock over the level of damage, emphasized federal government's commitment to commence rehabilitation work.
What I went around to see was devastation. It was very sad. We went to the East-West Road. We saw the extent of damage on that road. We also went to the Amasoma Road. We saw the extent of damage to that road. We also overflew some of the communities, and we saw that some houses are underwater. The devastation is total.
At the internally displaced person camps, the minister encouraged the people not to despair in these trying times and that the relief materials and food items donated by the NCDMB is to ameliorate their pain.
I've come here to identify with you. Today, I have come with NCDMB. I have asked them to come with some palliatives.
Representatives of the various camps, Ebiwo Koku Obiai and Maria Olodu Osima, commended the NCDMB for the kind gesture. In Yenagua, Ebinini Zitemiola, NTA News.
Still on the plight of IDPs, the All Progressives Congress presidential candidate in the 2023 general elections, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has donated a sum of 50 million naira to flood victims in Delta State to cushion the effects of their condition. The Deputy President of the Senate and APC Delta State governorship candidate, Ovi Omo Agege, who made the donation on his behalf, also gave food items and relief materials worth 150 million naira. Tessikoka tells us more.
The supporters were at the Osubi airstrip to receive the APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the deputy president of the Senate, Ovi Omo Agege. They have come to identify with the internally displaced persons in their various camps, where most people who were affected by ravaging flood are currently taking refuge. The APC supporters in their numbers accompany Omo Agege to the IDP camp in Okwagbe in Ugele South Council area.
The man who will be the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria by the grace of God and by the grace of your votes, to come and sympathize, to come and empathize with all of you he is donating the sum of 50 million. I have also decided to donate relief materials. All of them worth 150 million naira.
The gifts are meant to be distributed to all holdings across the state. The IDPs prayed for the donors and hoped for better days ahead. Tessie Coker, NTA News.
Let's now talk politics. As the 2023 general elections draw near, Majority Leader of the House of Representatives has urged members of the All Progressives Congress in Kano State to close ranks and work collectively in the interest of the party to ensure success. Happenings within the party machinery in Kano, Doguwa drew the attention of the national leadership of the APC to events in its fold, adding that an intervention is needed to consolidate the strength of APC there.
I am APC by nature. My blood is APC. And my big gun here is Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the presidency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Bring everybody on board. If they fail to be inclusive, all inclusive, to bring people who matter to come and work for the party, myself alone cannot be the alpha and omega of the party.
The House leader represents Doguwa Tudunwada Federal Constituency at the House of Representatives. The federal government says it will not be bullied into accepting a situation that has the capacity to destabilize the country. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed stated this in Kaduna. Anthony Forson has details.
The event was a presentation of second and third quarter security situation report in Kaduna State. The Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Arwan, while giving a detailed report on the review of security situation alongside efforts of the state government to mitigate, remove threats, presented statistics of banditry and terrorism, kidnapping, rape perpetrated by armed bandits, cattle rustling, ethnic clashes, violent attacks, and reprisals. Kaduna State, which became famous on the kidnapping platform, just as the Kaduna-Abuja highway became travelers' nightmare, have been taken off that platform as no such stories are told about Kaduna anymore. With this shooting report and the sudden U.S. travel alert on terror in Abuja and some selected cities in the country, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed applauded the Kaduna State government for towing the path of the federal government in the fight against insecurity, hence the need to discountenance the U.S. and other such security alerts by other countries.
I want to say very categorically and without mincing words that whatever has been the intention of this security alert or this travel advisory, what it has done is that it has terrorized our people. It has set the nation in a panic mode. No doubt, the American government has a right to issue travel advisories to its citizens, but that should not go to the extent of scaremongering. No responsible government will swallow hook, line, and sinker the security or intelligence report or alert from any other foreign country, especially when we have confidence in our own military security authorities to gather intelligence and to act upon it.
For Governor Nasiru El-Rufai, the quarterly security report is to bring the citizens up to speed on what the state government is doing and will continue to do.
Citizens have legitimate expectations to be provided with consistently accurate accounts of what's going on and to be updated on the measures being taken to address the security challenges. In stark terms, it demonstrates the continued severity of the security challenges and the unfortunate toll in killings, kidnappings, injuries, and threats to the livelihoods of our people. We regret the pain and losses. The extent of interventions in security by the state government can do is constitutionally limited. The federal government has to more vigorously exercise its constitutional powers and urgently spearhead a national effort to strengthen our security forces.
In Kaduna, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
It's time to take some messages, and when we return, we have some budget defense reports. To stay with us. You're still watching the network news on NTA. The Nigerian Governors Forum is exploring more partnership with Ministry of Health and the World Bank to strengthen capacities of states for effective delivery of healthcare services at subnational. This is coming as the forum's chairman and governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Wazir Tamwal, visits offices of the two strategic partners.
Nigeria sustainably enjoyed global recognition for its successes against child killer diseases and other ailments. Now, to strengthen capacities in improving the gains achieved, the Nigerian Governors Forum is seeking enhanced collaboration and support of the Ministry of Health. Immediate concerns topping the priority list are captured in the commitment of the Governors Forum and its host ministry.
To review the issue of the 25% counterpart funding for the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund release and see whether we can make it possibly to be on performance based. We'll give you the guarantee that there will be transparency and accountability in the implementation of the fund.
The president himself began by installing the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund that is to pay for the poor and vulnerable as measured in the social register.
During a strategic session between World Bank officials and the Nigerian Governors Forum, accessibility for more funds to meet rising demands in critical sectors with economic recovery and shocks in other areas took center stage.
The key point is that if this idea of how cares in any state that wants to restructure for the flood response, if that can be decided within the next 2 weeks, then
give all the necessary push that is required for all of these programs to come into fruition before we exit by May 2023.
This engagement is expected to show results with renewed drive in delivery of basic needs at subnational level in the immediate future. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
To budget defense, the Senate Committee on Appropriations is to commence the receipt of 2023 budget defense reports from standing committees next week Monday. Chairman of the committee spoke to National Assembly correspondents after the committee's meeting.
Resolve that every year we must pass the appropriate committee before the end of the year. It has been something we are committed to in this current National Assembly, and we don't fail this country in this respect. So please remind them that every committee has to submit its report, has to appear before this committee as scheduled. And failure to do that, if any committee fails to do that, this committee will go ahead to take appropriate action, thereby not taking into consideration the report that may be brought later.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has informed the Senate that in the last 6 months, it has frozen 600 illicit drug-related bank accounts, 103 of them belonging to one person. This is coming from the chairman of the agency, Mohammed Buba Marwa, when he received the Senate Committee on Drugs and Narcotics on oversight visit. Ignatius Nkwo reports.
It's been a period of budget scrutiny at the National Assembly. But the Senator Hezekiah Dimka-led Committee on Drugs and Narcotics decided to visit the headquarters of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency on fact-finding before the agency's budget defense. Senators, you are welcome, Chairman of the agency tells the committee. At the meeting room, Pictures of arrested drug peddlers and their various acts of concealment greeted the senators as Buba Marwa reels out more breakthroughs.
Spectacular seizures this year, very quickly, is first the seizure of 2.1 tons of raw cocaine, which we seized 2 months back in Ikurudu. That was the largest seizure in the history of the agency in one operation.
The chairman observed that year 2021 was a reset period for the agency as its Operation Offensive Action has yielded remarkable results even in the face of inadequate funds.
Recently, we signed an agreement with Interpol, which gave us access to a global database of criminals and also gave us the privilege to make contributions to the database. Our standing in the international community has improved significantly.
I want to assure you that we'll do everything possible within our reach. Whatever you think we can do, as senators, or this committee in particular, to see to the progress of NTA, we are ready to do that, Your Excellency.
The committee inspected the proposed permanent headquarters of the agency at the Katampe Road, Jahid District, Abuja. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
The Minister of Health, Dr. Saigi Haniri, has urged more funding to the sector to ensure well-being of citizens, as quality healthcare should not be sacrificed. It was during the 2023 Budget Defense session with the House of Representatives Committee on Healthcare Services. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
In 2022, he said, the capital allocation to the health ministry is 16 billion naira, but the proposal for 2023 has been pegged at 9 billion naira.
This is the health sector. People don't start getting sick less. They will even be sick more. So constraining the health sector budget in the new proposal will not be a very good idea.
So far, the ministry has received 8.6 billion naira, representing 50% of capital expenditure for 2022. The committee says both the executive and legislature have in the last 3 years collaborated to meet the minimum global threshold of allocation to the health sector.
The African Head of State mission is that we should get 15%. And gradually, since we came, we started around 4.5%. And we are now ending around 8%. We hope that our incoming regime will reach that 15%.
Meanwhile, House Committee on Women Affairs has engaged management of the National Center for Women Development on the center's budget performance for 2022 and projections for 2023.
Most of our facilities now in the center are functioning, and this is because of your support, the way you supported us in the budget, last year's budget. You are hereby allowed to take a bow and live with your team.
The committee also held a public hearing to amend the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act to further protect widows and women from all forms of abuse or discrimination. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Television Authority says it will not relent in its efforts at promoting improved health care and the fight against gender-based violence. Africa's largest television network made this commitment when two relevant organizations, the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors and the Nigerian Association of Women Journalists, came calling for partnership. Joseph Otsen reports.
The wide network coverage of the Nigerian Television Authority has continued to attract advocates of development to it. The latest is the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, with a drive to have a window for health talk.
There is a deficit of information regarding health to Nigerians, and indeed that is why most of the time for some of our citizens who are not well informed, they seek health care in the wrong hands and they end up coming down with complications.
Director Medical Services NTA represented the Director General.
Between October 10th and 25th, period about 15 days, the UK registered about 91 Nigerian doctors. It's an alarming thing because our health indices are very poor. NTA can push to set this as an agenda.
The Nigerian Association of Women Journalists is another agent of women empowerment in press, with a vital role NTA is playing to curb gender-based violence and balance in the society.
Inclusion is very, very key, especially as we look forward to the 2023 general election. The media has a role to play in promoting the issue of implementation of the 35% affirmative action.
Their host, Director General of NTA, Saliu Abdulhamid Dembos, while pledging commitment of the station to remain a bridge builder between citizens and government, tasked journalists to do more in curtailing negative impact of fake news.
That basically most of the fake news emerge within the country, and we should not in any way try to pull this country down, because when it happens, none of us will be safe.
For the DG, NTA would never drag its feet to support any person or group with good intent for progress of Nigeria and its people. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
To other matters, construction work at the Calabar-Itu Road awarded by the federal government is ongoing except for the failed portion of the road, which one of the construction firms, Sematech, is intervening to allow free vehicular passage pending the completion of the project. Ode Alenyo has a situation reports.
Although construction work is still ongoing at the Calabar-Itu Highway, yet there are failed portions of some parts of the road, thereby making motorists to spend several man-hours to continue their journey.
Been sleeping in this hold up for several days. We have been here. Sometimes we come here, we spend 4 or 5 days. There is no access road. We suffer what we suffer here. Everybody knows say we suffer a lot.
It took the intervention of another construction company handling other portions of the road to provide palliative measure to salvage the situation. NTA camera caught up with the project supervisor of the Sematech construction firm handling Okrikan Okwiboku axis of the road.
So we have to come here to intervene, make it motorable, so that Cosveran can have access, go through, and we can also have access to get our materials. What we are doing now, because Cosveran have seen it that Sematech is willing to work, Sematech is willing to do the needful to make sure that the road the road is motorable at all time of the year.
He assured that the company will continue to carry out remedial works while concentrating on the area allocated to their firm to ease movement on the only entry and exit route linking Calabar to other parts of the country. In Calabar, Ode Alenyo, NTA News.
This is the network news on NTA. Lagos is standing by with more reports from that zone, and Adiola will be our guide. Hello, Adiola.
Increased border awareness and heightened surveillance within its area of responsibility to nip in the bud unwholesome importations that could pose security risks to the forthcoming general elections. The acting controller of a zone, Hussein Jibunu, stated this while showcasing seizure for the month of October, in which the interception of more than 3,000 pieces of cutlasses is generating concern. Michael Olaleye has the details.
It was one of the usual patrol of the Federal Operations Unit Zone A, with searchlights deliberately beamed on intercepting smuggled bags of rice. The customs said the discovery of a deserted hut at Ojodon in a D-Roko area of Ogun State gave glimpse of hope of nailing targets, only for these 3,116 pieces of cutlasses to be seen. The country of origin is still unclear, but there are inscriptions on the cartons indicating made in Ghana. Why this consignment is a source of worry for the customs is simply because of the timing and manner of concealment. This is apart from lacking the required end-user certificate from the Office of the National Security Advisor, mandatory for such sophisticated imports.
This is election period now, and we need to fortify the nation. We need to ensure that items that could be of dangerous circumstance is not being brought in.
The initial quest for smuggled bags of rice paid off, with the entire seizure in the month of October equivalent of 12 trailers. But a scenario that played out somewhere in Oyo State in the course of seizing 500 bags of smuggled rice is still baffling the Federal Operations Unit Zone A.
Federal government say no to it on the paper and everything that is not. Look at the time. You traditional ruler leave your traditional stew to come and beg for contraband.
Within the month of October, 15 containers were seized by the zone for various infractions, in which only 3 were examined, while further actions on the remaining 12 were stalled by the failure of the importers and agents to show up. Apart from recording seizures with duty-paid value of more than 670 million naira, 11 suspects were arrested within the month under review. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
In response to the security demand of the time, officers and men of the Nigerian Army have been charged to redouble their efforts in the discharge of their assignments while maintaining professionalism. General Officer Commanding 81 Division, Major General Obinna Ajunwa, gave the charge in Lagos. Annie Daniels reports.
More than ever before in recent history of the nation, the Nigerian Army is answering pressing call to duty, fighting on many fronts to ensure internal security and defense of national unity. While noting the asymmetric nature of insecurity in the country, General Officer Commanding 81 Division, Major General Obinna Ajunwa says, to effectively engage the challenge, officers and men of the Nigerian Army must enhance their capacity to partner with the civil populace.
Our duty is about sacrifice. It's not what is convenient for you, but it's what is needed by the nation. So we expect them to make more sacrifices to be able to meet the demands of national defense.
He noted that the premium placed on enhancing the welfare of soldiers and boosting their morale by the Nigerian Army is the reason behind routine promotion of deserving officers. Lieutenant Colonel Olaniyi Oshoba, the Deputy Director of Army Public Relations, is one out of the 23 senior officers in the 81 Division recently promoted.
It is a call to double my effort to the service of our dear country, Nigeria.
I promise to do more, and I also ask that God should give me the wisdom and knowledge so that I can be able to impart into the system.
The 81 Division covering Lagos and Ogun states is one of the 8 army divisions across the country. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
And we're done from the Center of Excellence, but do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other verified social media handles displayed on the screen for updates. More reports after this time out. To stay with us.
Thanks for staying with the NTA. The All Progressives Congress presidential candidate, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has announced his intention to partner with the Kogi State government to find a lasting solution to the disastrous floods plaguing the state if elected president in 2023. This was at the party's stakeholders meeting held in Lokoja, where he donated 100 million naira to flood victims. Solomon Aiden reports.
The All Progressives Congress stakeholders meeting brought together party loyalists from the 21 local government areas of the state to map out strategies that will ensure victory for the party in the upcoming polls. It also provided the party's presidential candidate, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, an opportunity to commiserate with the government and people of Kogi State over the 2022 flood disaster. Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in a message delivered by Governor Yahaya Bello, assured the people of Kogi of his determination to collaborate with the state and federal government towards a lasting solution to the menace.
We will work assiduously to confront security, reform the economy, target double-digit GDP, increase megawatts of electricity to power the industries, businesses, and homes, and empower our people through creation of jobs for our people.
Kogi APC Chairman Abdullahi Bello, the Deputy Governor Edward David Onoja, and other stakeholders commended the leadership style and achievements of Governor Yahaya Bello. They also expressed confidence that the party will triumph come 2023, stressing that Kogi State is an APC state. Party loyalists are expected to embark on mass mobilization of supporters for the success of the party next year. Lokoja, Solomon Ayedehi, NTA News.
The Nigerian military is enhancing empowerment package and welfare of officers and soldiers across formations in the country. Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya said this at a graduation ceremony for undergraduate trainees projects in Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
These are 234 undergraduates from different barracks in Abuja, successful product of the first stream of the Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association NAOA Youth Development Project. The program at the NAOA Institute of Management and Technology comprises of an intensive information communication technology skills acquisition and entrepreneurial training.
It is heartwarming that the NAOA Youth Development Project is yielding positive results, as these trainees will be going back to their respective schools with added knowledge that would have significant impact in their educational pursuits and career development.
You have reduced drastically youth restiveness, since the skills acquired will enable them gain employment with some startup businesses.
A gesture that Chief of Army Staff noted will boost troops' morale in the front line.
I want to assure you resources will be provided and be supported. Any initiative that will empower and train and educate our youth in the barrack will be supported. So bring as many as you can.
Several laptop computers and cash gifts were distributed to participants.
This system will serve as an opportunity for me to improve myself, because I can install more operating systems like the Linux, which can help me in cybersecurity as a profession.
Now I enjoin the graduates to be focused and self-employed. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
President Muhammad Buhari wishes a happy 71st birthday to Jim James Ovia, businessman and founder of Zenith Bank, describing him as a symbol of service and dedication. In a statement by Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity Garba Shehu, the president praised Ovia for his visionary accomplishments and wishes him more years in sound health. Toyota China Automobile has recalled 14,799 defective Lexus vehicles globally due to a faulty programming of the lane keeping assist system. The Federal Road Safety Corps reveals that the affected vehicles include Lexus NX260, Lexus NX3650H, and Lexus NX400H Plus, which were manufactured between 31st of March 2021 to 26th of April 2022. The court says the company is also recalling 6,491 Lexus NX6260 with defective electric parking brake system, which was manufactured between 19th of April 2021 and 15th of July 2022. The withdrawal is specifically premised on the fact that the vehicles will pose safety hazard to their users, thereby leading to crashes. In other news, Prime Minister of Twin Islands of Antigua and Bermuda in the Caribbean says the Nigerian Television Authority NTA should serve as window to the Caribbean, assessing information on culture, trade and investment opportunities between both countries. This is as Nigeria continues to grow bilateral ties with the Caribbean. Benny Adams reports.
I mean, we have a little bit of Nollywood here in Antigua and Barbuda. But I think it would be good, perhaps, if we could get maybe a news channel from Nigeria on our television, because again we are only seeing what some media of the West from the West portrayed to us.
In furtherance to this request, the Antigua and Barbuda Prime Minister Gaston Brown received the last two editions of NTA TV Guide with a request that both countries share TV content in celebration of the African heritage, business and investment.
And I believe certainly that Africa, especially Nigeria, represents a significant opportunity for the Caribbean.
While commending the head of the Nigerian delegation, Mr. Emmanuel Sampson, for his efforts at attracting investment to the Twin Islands, the Prime Minister seeks his consent as he considers appointing him Antigua and Barbuda envoy to Nigeria.
Mr. Sampson is prepared to serve in that role, but that's a discussion I will have with Sampson to elevate the level of representation of Antigua and Barbuda in Nigeria?
On this flight, we have people from Cameroon, Ghana, so many countries. Barbados, Jamaica, they have more than 30 people to Jamaica. They are connecting tomorrow. So it's going to be an up, like you said. And they are all excited. I'm getting calls from all these countries, from US, this one from Canada. And Antigua sitting and saying, man, this is done.
Emmanuel Sampson is a Nigerian and the president, Nigeria, Antigua and Barbuda Chamber of Commerce. From the twin islands of Antigua and Barbuda, I am Benny Adams, NTA News.
Now let's take it to Mexico, where there is an agreement to work with Nigeria in the area of agricultural produce inspection with a view to addressing the issues of rejection. This is coming as the two countries fine-tune agreements to sign up a tie on the exportation of hibiscus from Nigeria. Musa Babali reports from Mexico City.
This is the National de Referencia Fitosanitaria in Mexico. The center operates just like the Nigeria Agricultural Quarantine Service. It investigates and ascertains the quality of agricultural produce either going out or coming into the country. The delegation from Nigeria visited the center and they were acquainted with the procedures of inspecting farm produce. The idea is to ensure that pests and diseases are not transferred from one location to another. For instance, this room has the collection of pests detected in the country and how it was managed. Apart from the use of laboratories for disease detection, dogs are also trained on how to inspect fruits and other produce coming into the country through air and sea ports. This depicts how serious agricultural quarantine is to Mexico.
Putting all that together, I think generally we can actually say Sonasika is doing a job that is quite impressive, and it's something that I think if we can replicate back at home, it will help a long way to help us control the influx of pests and diseases, which is the major objective of the quarantine service.
Es de parte de Nigeria, de los funcionarios de Nigeria, en el sentido de conocer las actividades que estamos haciendo como país.
And now this institution is willing to support Nigeria in the area of capacity building on how to dictate, treat, and also reject agricultural produce before exporting them into any country. From Mexico City, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Back home, after supporting rice farmers and millers to a record success in qualitative and quantitative production and processing, the federal government is now scaling up the weighing and measurement standards of milling factories through calibration of their measuring instruments. Awal Salisu in Kano reports that this action by the Standards Organization of Nigeria is to further bring national productivity at par with global standards.
This is a climax of series of interrelated developments that have redefined the faces of agriculture, food security and industrialization in Nigeria, thanks to paradigm shift initiative of the present administration, with unprecedented yields from the farms to feed the industries that keep growing and processing with lots of value additions. The last step to achieving global certification is ensuring accuracy of measurement, which the Standard Organization of Nigeria is here to help the companies achieve.
What we are doing here today is to make sure the industry is efficient, people are not cheated, and the industry is not cheated. And we want Nigerian products to be respected and appreciated.
Accuracy in weigh and measure in the activities of manufacturing industries is achieved through calibration, which further accelerates growth of the industries and makes Nigerian products compete favorably in the global markets.
Africa Continental Free Trade Area, whereby you have to meet the international quality requirement for your product to be accepted. That's a very huge market for us.
While this flagging off of free calibration exercise further consolidate the productive gains of Nigeria, stakeholders now appeal for consistency in policies and programs that guarantee industrial growth. The exercise is now being made more accessible with the newly acquired calibration vans expected to promote export and consumers' confidence in goods as well as ensure a level playing ground for commercial activities. In Kano, Awal Salisu, NTA News.
Let's take a break. The news continues shortly. Governor Darius Dixon Ishaku has expressed confidence in the ability of the Taraba State contingents to the National Sports Festival scheduled for Asaba, Delta State later this year. The governor said this when he received the Torch of Unity at Government House, Jalingo. Bem Hanya reports.
The team, which will go round the 36 states of Nigeria, and the FCT arrived Government House Jalingo to present the torch to Governor Darius Dixon Ishaku. The governor received the torch among applause from those present. Governor Ishaku said his administration has been committed to sports development right from inception because, aside uniting the people, talents for international competitions are developed through state-level sports. He expressed the hope that his Delta State counterpart, Ifeanyi Okowa, would provide a conducive atmosphere for the successful hosting of the event.
I'm working and waiting for them to bring the trophies that they will win. National event this year, so that I can hold them here and also make sure that we have a party and celebration. All the contingents going. So what that means is it signifies the commencement of the sports, and so that we will give your prayers, we will pray for our contingent that will be participating in the National Sport Festival.
Director of Sports, George Shita, commended the governor for providing all that the Taraba State contingent would require for the festival. Meanwhile, Governor Ishaku has approved the hosting of the 4-year elective annual general meeting of the Nigerian Olympic Committee scheduled for Jalingo, Taraba State. In Jalingo, Bem Hanya, NTA News.
And that's the news. Thank you so much for your time. Do remember to always take action against rape and rapists. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Enjoy your weekend.